Good morning, everyone. I'm Tim Pham in the KREM 2 newsroom. We are continuing to follow the breaking news out of Avista Stadium. The fire is mostly out at this hour, but it was a huge response early this morning. If you didn't know, Avista Stadium caught fire earlier this morning, and I should be more specific, the concession stand caught fire. We're told by Otto Klein from the Spokane Indians that this did not affect the rest of the stadium, but I have to show you this video if you haven't seen it yet. It is really crazy. The fire started around 2:45 this morning. Let me get to the video here for you. This is a look from our crews on the scene around 4 a.m. this morning. The fire started around 2:45 again, and it actually was burning pretty much up until about 9 o'clock. So for about 6 hours, firefighters worked to put out this fire. And you can see some of the letters off of the building even fell off and walls collapsed. It was it's pretty sad to see, honestly. If you think about, this is a ballpark. It's very nostalgic and a place that people love to go. And Avista Stadium, they have been going under a lot of renovations. This was actually an older building, and this wasn't a building that was newly renovated, and it wasn't on their radar to be renovated, but it is now, obviously. So I do want to show you some new pictures that we actually got into our newsroom just moments ago. This is from Spokane Valley Fire Department. It shows another vantage point of the fire from inside the stadium. So you can see the concession stand from the other point of view from inside. It looks like the fire originated somewhere in the middle of the concession stand. You can see the bay there where most of the fire is centered around. We're told by Spokane Valley Fire that the fire began in the attic and continued to spread throughout the rest of the concession stand building. They still don't know what caused the fire, but here's some other photos that Spokane Valley Fire put out, and you can just see how intense this fire was. I mean, just look at the flames, the smoke. You can see the smoke has more of a darker black color to it. Here's another vantage point, just hard to see. It's crazy. They just had their season finale just last Sunday, just days ago, and the fair is set to open today. And we also heard that this will have minor impacts to the parking around Avista Stadium, which is good news because, of course, there's going to be a lot of people out at the fair. So no major issues to the fair impacts, but again, some parking lots might be blocked off. We heard from Spokane Valley Fire just within the last hour or two, so I want to go ahead and play that interview for you here, and they give more details about what happened earlier this week.
ATTERSON. I'm a public information officer with Spokane Valley Fire Department.
And Travis, just what can you tell us about what happened here today?
So middle of the night last night, around 3 a.m., we were toned out for a commercial structure fire. Callers reporting they saw flames coming out of the side of the concession buildings. Crews arrived on scene. Spokane engines were first on scene, and they started taking a look, trying to isolate the seat of the fire. We're having a tough time finding where that was. It seemed like it had moved up into the attic of the building, and due to the construction type of the building, they decided that they were going to go to defensive operations due to the risk of structural collapse. So since then, they've just been working on getting the fire put out, and that's kind of still where we're at. We're waiting for a structural engineer to show up to verify if it's safe to go inside for our investigators. And as soon as they get inside and get more access to the scene, we'll have more information.
And what does this mean for people who are planning on going to the fair today?
Impact should be low. We currently obviously have this supply line across Savannah, but they're looking to get that pulled out pretty soon here. There's going to be a barricade around the scene, so slight impact to parking, but as far as the fair is concerned, everything should be business as normal.
Perfect. I guess when you arrive at these big scenes like this, when you make that determination from going from interior to kind of that defensive fire, I guess kind of you walk us through that a little bit, just based on the surroundings around you a little bit?
Yeah, so it's two things. It's number one, it's an unoccupied building in the middle of the night, so we're not concerned about there being people occupying the building, and then it's also the safety of our firefighters. If you have the possibility of structure collapse, it obviously presents a pretty big issue. So you look to contain the fire to the location that it's at and then keep it there.
Wow. And I guess, can you talk to us a little bit more about what the investigators have been able to gather
so far before being able to go inside?
At this point, we have some drones in the air to get some aerial photos, and they're taking external photos. They'll go around and see if there's any cameras that they can get access to. But at that point, that's basically where we're at on that.
Do you know what was done to prevent the fire from spreading to other buildings?
So the external operations, they get hoses around the area to make sure that they keep the fires from spreading.
Anything else?
No, we're good.
Cool.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sweet.
Thank you so much.
Again, that was Travis Patterson giving us an update on the situation, a public information officer with Spokane Valley Fire Department. Again, this fire started around 2:55 this morning, and it caused a huge response. In fact, they had to close down North Havana Street, while they worked to fight that fire. Again, I'm going to show you this video because I don't think it played fully the first time. It's a really incredible video. There it is. You can see the letters falling off of the building, and eventually one of those walls actually collapsed. If you're just joining us, this is a fire at Avista Stadium, and you can see the wall collapse right there. Gosh, just so hard to see. It was just there just days ago for the season finale of the Spokane Indians. So this happened again early this morning, and firefighters, they had to really be careful with the situation, as you heard Travis mention, because it was they were balancing whether or not it was structurally safe to actually enter the building, because they kind of factored in, like, obviously no one lives here, and they had to balance the safety of the firefighters, and they decided to kind of attack it from what they call a defensive posture and not enter the building until they could safely put it out, and then they are calling on structural engineers before they enter the building to attack it from the inside. So there was a partial collapse of a metal roof, we're told, and again, they say this building is a total loss. Good news here, no one was hurt in this situation. Earlier today, I actually got to interview Otto Klein, the Senior Vice President with the Spokane Indians. He gave us a little bit more insight on the situation and also how this could impact, or if it will impact, the renovations at the stadium. I want to bring in now Otto Klein, the Senior Vice President for the Spokane Indians, with us now on the phone. Otto, good morning. Thank you for being here with us. Tell us more about what happened here at Avista Stadium. Good morning.
Well, obviously, an unfortunate incident with a fire to our main concession stand. We don't have any details on how or why, but we do know that it was isolated just to that building, to our main concession stand here, and no other damage to any of our other buildings. And thankfully, also no injuries to anyone. And definitely want to thank Spokane Valley Fire and Spokane Fire Department. They were here on the scene immediately and have done a great job putting out the building.
Wow, yeah, and Otto, it's got to be hard to see this happen to the stadium. Obviously, the season just wrapped up. It's such a beloved ballpark for this community. Tell us more about when you got that phone call and what the initial reports came in as.
Well, we were notified about 2:45 this morning, and I think we were down here by 3:15 to 3:30 a.m. And of course, the building was ablaze, engulfed already, and so it had started for some time, and really unfortunate. But we are going to respond, and like we always do, and we'll figure out a way to get it rebuilt and work with our partners at Spokane County. And they've been great through this whole process, and Avista was here very early and shut off all the power and natural gas and everything else. So the community responded exactly like we thought that they would in the short amount of time, and we're just thankful that no one was injured, and we're going to find a way to move forward.
Yeah, and Otto, speaking of moving forward, the Avista Stadium is undergoing a lot of renovations right now and has been for the last couple of years. Was this a part of the renovations, or was this going to be renovated? Can you tell us more about where this stands in terms of that bigger picture of the overall renovations at the stadium?
No, this building was built about 12 years ago, and it was not a part of our current renovations that we've been doing. So this is completely separate from that. And then the other thing I think is good to know is that there may be some temporary parking adjustments and traffic adjustments for the fair, but everything is still on as normal. And in fact, they're cleaning up, and we're barricading the area right now. So there'll be some minor adjustments, but no impact to the fair.
And will it have any impact on renovations? Obviously, the season is ending, and I know you guys get to work almost immediately every single year. Will that delay any of those projects?
No, not of our current projects that we're working on. No impact there, and I think this will now be a new project for us to figure out how to rebuild and get it going. But those things are happening as we speak.
All right, Otto Klein joining us live this morning here on Up with KREM. Otto, thank you for your time. I want to bring in KREM 2's Christian Garza now. Christian, you were there all morning long. You got there just before 5 o'clock today. And when you got there, tell us more about what you saw initially.
Yeah, so I was there all morning, so I will say I do smell like smoke. That is very...
You smell fine.
Okay, great, perfect. I was going to say, I did bring it with me, but I was there all morning long, like you said. I got there around 4 a.m. Fire started around 2:45 this morning. I know you mentioned that a little bit earlier as well. And so when we first got there, it didn't look like the fire was anything major. We knew that there was something in the building. We could see maybe some flames here and there kind of shooting up through the roof, but there really wasn't as big of a fire as there was later, like you're seeing on your screen right now. This is after hours of burning. But when we first got to this, scene, it really wasn't as crazy as it looks right now. Once we were there for about 30 more minutes, that wall that you're seeing right in front actually did collapse and fell into the parking lot, and the roof caved in, and that's when all the major flames started shooting up from the roof. It kind of went from left to right and then back to left as things started catching more and more on fire. And so just plumes and plumes of smoke filled that area on Havana Street down in the valley. And so there was just so many different things that we were able to see, and very, very sad, unfortunate things.
It is very sad.
I talked to Otto as well when he was down there, because he was there all morning as well, talking with the media, not on camera, because he said it was just a little too hard for him to speak about it. But
I know, seeing that, I mean, it's hard to see because the season just ended too, and this is not what you want to see.
Right, exactly. It's not what you want to see. He did reiterate, though, that he's grateful that it happened after the season. He's grateful that it didn't spread, because like we mentioned, this is their main concession stand building, and so it's not really connected to any other building that they have on the property, so it's not like part of their locker rooms or part of their stadium, actually, and so nothing else really was damaged besides this one building. And so he obviously sad that it happened, grateful that it wasn't worse, because it could have very well been very much worse.
So and then Christian, tell us about the roads. So roads are back open now, right?
Yeah. Roads were back open at around, I want to say right before we went live for our 8:30 half hour. They started cleaning up the area where they were taking the hose from the other side of Havana Street into that area of Avista Stadium. They started cleaning up, and then they opened up those roads shortly after. And so the roads were closed, though, from when crews got there at 2:45 up until around 8:30.
Wow.
So still, as they were fighting that fire, and also, I mean, as we kind of go on, obviously today's the first day of the fair, and so that's really right next to the fairgrounds as well, and so the main thing that the fire department wanted to do was to make sure that traffic impact was very low for people that are heading out today.
There's going to be a lot of people there.
Exactly. And so they got a good handle on it. They got it under control fairly quickly. They were there on scene for about 6 hours, and now they're monitoring the different hotspots there in the area. But yeah, like I mentioned, traffic started moving at around 8:30, and so really, if you are going, maybe expect some delays. But right now, there's not any serious roadblocks or anything like that to prevent you from going to the fair.
Well, that's good news to hear. Did anyone show up? Obviously, it's hard for a lot of us. It's hard for people to see such a beloved staple burn, honestly. So, did you see anyone show up? Taking pictures? Anyone show up to the reserve?
Right, and so like I mentioned, the two areas there on Havana, as well as just on Havana and that Alki area, there was roadblocks on a different block area. And so really, the fire landed up Valley Fire Department was telling me that they first saw the fire in the attic of the building. So when crews, went on the offense to go and get it and knock it down, once they got in, they realized that the roof was caving in, and so then it became a safety hazard for the firefighters, and so they pulled them back, and then that's when they started that defensive maneuver, that defensive stance on it. And so the reason why they couldn't go in and attack it earlier was because of just safety issues altogether, and so that's why they started using ladders. They started shooting it from above to get down into it.
And did they mention they were using drones too?
They were using drones after all the fire was put out for the most part, just because the investigators also couldn't go in because it was unsafe for them to go in and get pictures and do whatever they needed to do to further that investigation. Obviously, the cause of the fire is still under investigation, so until crews are able to go in and until crews are able to fully see and investigate what exactly happened inside that building, they're really not going to know until then.
Christian, did they say when we can expect another update?
They personally did not tell me anything, but I do know that the fair is having a
press conference.
At 10:45, and so I wouldn't be surprised because it happened literally right next to the fairgrounds. If maybe they said something, one or two things. I know that parking is a big thing that's going to be affected by this, and so there might be limited parking now because that parking lot is unfortunately full of ash and fire crews there.
And then we'll have more information on KREM 2 News at noon. And so our Shannon Mowdy is actually following this story today, and we'll have coverage throughout the day for you. So be sure to stick it with KREM 2 and watch for updates here on KREM 2 Plus and on KREM.com.
Exactly.
All right, Christian, thanks so much for your reporting. And again, we will have more coverage on this throughout the day. Be sure to download our app and turn on push notifications. The minute we learn new details, we'll be sure to bring it to you here on KREM 2 Plus and all of our platforms. That'll do it for us here from the KREM 2 Streaming Center in our newsroom. Check back in throughout the day, and we'll bring you updates as we get them.